Welcome to another daily practice live with Nikhil. Hope you are well. So, today we be talking about letting go of the patterns that no longer serve you. And these are the patterns I call ghosts. So, have you ever felt haunted? Not by ghosts in white sheets, but by the ghosts of old habits? Those patterns of behavior, those automatic reactions, those thought loops that seem to run your life on autopilot, especially when you're feeling stressed or stuck. Maybe it's the ghost of procrastination that whispers later when you know you need to update your resume, for example. So you find yourself suddenly needing to organize your spice rack when it's time to work on this crucial presentation. Or the ghost of people pleasing that pushes you to say yes to joining another committee meeting when your energy screams for no way. So perhaps it's a self-criticism, constantly narrating yourself, your perceived flaws. Example, that inner voice which we talked about many times that pipes up. You're probably too old to switch careers anyway. Whenever you start feeling hopeful. Or even the ghosts that snap at your loved ones after a long, stressful day, even though that's nothing to do with them and it's not who you want to be. So these are the ghosts we are going to be talking about. So where do these patterns come from? And more importantly, why do they stick around, sometimes for decades, even when we know that we are holding this in opposition to the growth we want to do? Especially now in this complex world of ours, especially for a lot of us who are going through the middle of our lives. What if I told you that we might be unknowingly feeding these ghosts, keeping them alive? So today we'll be delving deep into this fascinating world of our own behavior. We're going to explore a powerful psychological principle that can help us change the perspective, reframe things. In a way, it is not more science-based, it's more like reclaiming your power. So we'll uncover the sources of these patterns and how we feed them, and learn some ways in which we can gently, compassionately stop feeding them, ready to be a ghostbuster for your own habits. So, what's keeping these patterns going? The core idea is reinforcement, as you must have heard in your journey in self-improvement. So, simple put, behaviors are reinforced, that are rewarded, tend to be repeated. So the reward might be obvious, like pleasure you get from comfort food or that dopamine spike. But often, especially with patterns that ultimately hurt us, the reward is sneakier. Example, thinking of a very close to heart example is hitting the snooze button. I think that happens to most of us. I'm certainly prone to that, and the immediate reward is like a 5 minutes or half an hour or sometimes 2 hour warmth and avoiding the effort of getting up, even though it makes the morning rushed and stressful. Or the tiny hits of dopamine you get from seeing a new notification when you pick up your phone instead of focusing on that project or focusing on your family or your friends right now. So it might be temporary relief from the anxiety when you avoid a task. It might be the fleeting sensation you need right now. So it might be the feeling of being needed when you overcome it. It might even be the strange comfort of the predictability, even if it's predictably negative self talk. So think about it for a moment. Think about the pattern which you could shake. What immediate tiny benefit or relief might you be getting right in that moment you engage in it? So think of an activity, that pattern which has been your ghost. And what is the benefit or what is the relief you might be getting right in that moment? So maybe you can write this down in your journal, or even just reflect, or even put it down on your phone. So let's just get the brain juices flowing and think about this. What is the little benefit? So maybe it is that feeling of joy or pleasure in that moment when we indulge in that chocolate, and then after a while you feel bad, which is all normal, by the way. This is nothing to be right or wrong. It's just I am observing what is happening to the mind. We engage in the chase, or we crave the chase more than actually the activity. So for example, we actually, when we crave something, it's the chase to get the thing we want is more dopaminergic than actually when you get it. So this is the essential survival mechanism which we've been discussing for a long time. But it is in action, it's quick, it is snappy. Nowadays we get a lot of ways in which we can access this. So the tiny reward or the benefit you might be getting in the moment is that survival need. Like, this is important for our survival, so we have to do this. So we start to feed it. We start to feed that behavior, and that gets rewarded by the dopamine system, and then it gets repeated, and then it forms into your psyche, and we call it our personality in a way. So think of that moment. Now, what I want to talk about is the idea of extinction. No, this is not about dinosaurs or other poor mammals which have been extinct. On the flip side, it's an idea in psychology when the reward, the reinforcement is consistently removed. The behavior, like a plant without water, gradually weakens. It loses its power. Humans without food, water, loses their energy, begins to fade. And it isn't about punishment. It's about removing the fuel. It's a different way of thinking of it. So we often think of, when we want to change a behavior, we want to punish ourselves or like starve ourselves and make us suffer. But this is more subtler than that, and it's called extinction. This is the concept I think is very important in chasing away your ghosts. So it's about removing the fuel. It's about consciously deciding, I'm no longer going to feed this pattern that doesn't serve the person I am becoming. And it will be difficult upfront because we are not trained to do this, and there's going to be a lot of chatter. So let's get practical. So, and this requires maybe some honest self-detective work. So you are going to chase that ghost. So I invite you to grab a pen, open a notebook on your phone, or just pause and reflect. What is one specific recurring pattern, a behavior, a thought loop, an emotional reaction that you feel genuinely stuck in right now? So be specific about this. So take this moment. Yes, everyone, I think you all can do this. Take this moment. What is the one specific recurring pattern, a behavior, a thought loop, an emotional reaction that you feel genuinely stuck in right now? And if there is nothing, just listen to the rest of the episode. If not, try to find what it is and get really specific. Not just I procrastinate, but something along the lines of I avoid starting the project or report by scrolling social media for hours. And not just I'm stressed, but when I feel overwhelmed by emails, I shut down and watch Netflix instead of tackling them. So that's how specific you can get. And there are more examples like endlessly researching a potential career change online, but never talking to anyone in those fields. So that could be one very close to people who are searching for jobs. Agreeing to social events you dread just to avoid potential quote unquote fear of missing out. That could be another one. Reaching for a sugary snack mid-afternoon when energy falls. This is a common one which I find. Immediately jumping to defend yourself when receiving feedback. This is another textbook reactionary ghost which is always present, trying to defend ourselves no matter what. So go on. If you got one, good. Now the crucial question. In all those behaviors, what is the hidden reward? What is the hidden reward? In all those questions you asked yourselves, or maybe the one you picked. So for example, immediately jumping to defend yourself when receiving constructive feedback. What is the hidden reward? What immediate need, however small, seemingly illogical, this pattern is trying to meet? So just think about it. What comes to mind, jot it down. Here are some ideas to help you. So this you can take these or you can find your own. So is it comforting or numbing? Like zoning out with TV, food, shopping, etc. Does that extra sugar you add? I keep coming back to sugar. Sugar is not the really bad person. I just keep using it as because it's usually the scapegoat for all of this. Is that extra sugary dessert thing to just numb your feelings of dissatisfaction or loneliness? Is it an avoidance of discomfort? So avoiding difficult tasks, conversations, feelings. Is it a sense of control? Is it like I need to be in control about all of this? And does criticizing yourself first somehow feel like you're controlling the narrative before someone else can? Is it social connection or approval? Does saying yes to everything give you a momentary feeling of being liked and loved? And this is a close one for is that people pleasing, social connection. And yeah, many years in my life I've been trying to please people without realizing what I was doing, and it was affecting me so much that I changed careers and like I couldn't take that anymore. So yeah, it's a one close to my heart, but it could be something else for you. Or is there an energy discharge? It's like it's a way in which you process something which you can process in a kinder, gentler, natural way. So for example, does snapping at your peer, for example, snapping at your partner, provide that quick, very unhelpful release of pent-up frustration about yourself? Or is it familiarity? So just doing what you've always done, even if that ends up now being unhelpful. So be brutally honest. because this is your life and you can take this action, but wildly compassionate with yourself here. What's the payoff? What's the payoff in that moment? Jot down the best guess. So take this moment to reflect on it. Okay. Now, practical. Awareness is the first step. How do we strategically withdraw the reinforcement? How do we starve the ghost? Is there where you could become the conscious architect of your behavior? So how do we do this? So look at the reward you identified. So what is the reward you are identifying? For example, familiarity. Is the reward is just feeling comfortable doing this? And now you can take the next step and think about one small way you could start removing the specific reward. So find a healthier way to meet that underlying need. Again, this is your project, this is your practice. So I invite you to get as personal as possible and use your powers of introspection and self-detective work to get to the bottom of it. So we understood the need which we're trying to fix, and then we understood the reward which is being served. Now it's time to extinguish or extinct, to work on the extinction aspect of this behavior. So for example, if it's avoidance or discomfort, if the pattern is avoiding difficult questions, it might be the reward would be like anxiety relief. So you've always had that feeling, right? When you have to do something and that meeting gets cancelled, you feel a bit happy. You're like, oh yes, thank you. And that is exactly what it is. It's an anxiety relief and it's the reward. And that's what we practice on all the difficult conversations which we believe are difficult. So what is the strategy to work with that? So practice staying with the discomfort. So open your inbox or whatever work you do, and maybe read a tricky email without replying to it immediately. Acknowledge yourself for facing it, a self-reward. So saying, yes, I have done well. Opening this, I have done well. Even just reaching out to that person because I have to, or putting that content out into the world so that I can share what I know, or to get that promotion I'm looking for. Just put the thing out there. And break the task down if it's possible. There's another way to come to the same conclusion, is just draft a single sentence of the reply. This is an example we're doing with work, but this could be something for you, something else for you. Now, if it's numbing or distraction, which is the problem, or which is the ghost we are going to make extinct. Maybe the distraction and numbing is mindless scrolling when bored. And reward is seeing that new reel come up, a new post come up, new meditation teacher come up. This is what we are after. We do this also on Insight Timer and any other platform. We seek for that thing which finds balance or finds novelty for us, and then we sit with it for a while until it becomes not novel, and then we move on. So this happens in all aspects of life. This is not a go at anything, but it's just natural. But if that's what we are trying to reduce its hold or grip on us, one of the strategies could be make it harder. Put the phone in another room for an hour. So you're controlling that stimulus. So there's no way you can get it. Or plan an alternative engaging activity for that time. So listen to specific chapter on an audiobook, for example, or do 10 push-ups, pull-ups, whatever, yoga, exercise, sketch for 5 minutes. So we are creating an alternative behavior for the same distraction. And again, all of this sounds very easy, but when we start to do it, that's when the ghosts start to cry. That's when really they feel really hungry, and you know how hungry you are. You know how hungry you get. Hangry you get when you are hungry. Imagine that 100 times more, because this is the only source of fuel it has had ever since it was born. So you have to be compassionate to yourself. You will have to bear, sometimes you might have to lean in. And this is something which is very interesting. It's like you lean into that distraction, see what it says. Sometimes you have to kind of test your limit. Sometimes you have to be compassionate, sometimes you have to be kind. So yeah, whatever it is. So if it's seeking approval, for example, pattern is automatically saying yes to extra work. Reward is feeling needed, and like people love me, and I feel like I don't need to fight or create a conflict. And then the strategy here could be like practice pausing. As soon as you hear some thing which you automatically realize you say yes to, or anything which you feel is important, practice pausing. And the automatic reply, you can say, if it is a work situation, you can automatically set a reply message saying, let me check and I'll get back to you. Or prepare a polite no script. Now we have so much content out there that you can actually use these things to help you. So much help in terms of AI and everything. You can use these to draft and get ready responses that you automatically trigger. So this is a work example, but or if it is not for you, that's okay too. You can find something which you can say, okay, this is what I do usually, this is what I want to change, and this is how I'm going to make this pattern extinct. And if it's a thought pattern, example, pattern of harsh criticism. Oh, I messed up that again. A reward may be sneakier than you think. It may be that you are lowering expectations. So noticing that you are trying to tell your mind that the reason you messed up or failed is because of something else, so that you don't feel needy or you don't feel criticized. So maybe you feel like this is feeding into your familiar patterns. So notice the thought non-judgmentally. There is that inner critic which we discussed. Don't argue, just gently redirect focus to your breath or an external object, or consciously offer yourself a compassionate counter narrative. That was challenging, I'm learning. So these are like the ways in which you can start to work on this aspect of extinction. Extinction, making the ghosts extinct. So a heads up, by the way, sometimes when you first stop feeding old patterns, as I mentioned, it throws a tantrum. Psychologists call this extinction burst. Example, if you stop reaching for cookies when stressed, the urge might feel overwhelmingly strong for the first few days. And that's okay too. If this happens, you can recognize that it's not a failure, but as evidence that the thought patterns feel the lack of reinforcement. So that's what you have done. So when you notice this, you are starting to slowly reduce the fuel for your ghosts. And this process takes patience. It takes immense self-compassion, which is what we've been preparing this whole week for. You're rewiring pathways laid down for years. There will be slips, and that's okay. This isn't about perfection. This isn't about getting things right. It's about compassionate practice. So, why is this important right now? Because this is often the time we pause and ask, is the life I am truly aligned with who I want to be? Are the scripts I'm running still serving my growth, my purpose, my well being? And extinguishing old habits isn't just about stopping annoying habits, it's about reclaiming authorship of your life. It's about freeing up vital energy you could be using to build new skills, build relationships, deepen and pursue your likes and passions. So, what would you create, experience, or become with the energy you reclaim from these old patterns? Because this is all energy, and when you start one energy source, you will replace it with another energy source. So, this is an opportunity to do just that. So, let's integrate all this into a short practice with a transition. So, a meditation focused on awareness, letting go, and reclaiming that precious inner space. So let's begin. Closing your eyes if that's comfortable, finding a position seated or lying down, allowing your eyes to gently do its thing. Take a slow, deep breath in. And as you exhale, consciously release any tension you might be holding in your shoulders, your jaw, your belly. Bring your awareness first to the points of contact between your body and the surface supporting you. Feeling the ground beneath you, solid, stable. Feeling yourself held. Now gently bring your attention to your breath, not changing it, just noticing the natural rhythm of your inhale and your exhale. Each breath an anchor to this present moment. As you rest here, thoughts and feelings will naturally arise, perhaps even the urges or discomfort related to those old patterns we discussed. Example, the urge to check your phone right now, the flicker of anxiety about a task ahead, the familiar critical thought. See if you can just simply notice them without judgment, without needing to push them away or cling to them. Imagine them like clouds drifting through the vast sky of awareness. A thought cloud, a feeling cloud, an urge cloud. Just noticing. Now bring to mind one of those patterns you identified earlier, that one which you wish to release its hold over you. See it in your mind's eye, perhaps as a symbol, or just feel the energy of it. Imagine that this pattern has been held by a rope or a thread connecting you to it, feeding it energy. And now visualize yourself with intention and compassion, gently loosening your grip on that rope. You don't need to forcefully cut it. Just release your hold. It feels lighter. Let it go slack. With each exhale, feel yourself letting go just a little bit more, releasing the need to feed this old pattern. Trusting that you have the inner resources to meet the underlying need in a healthier way. Exhaling, letting go. Notice the space that might be opening up within you as you release your grip. A sense of lightness, perhaps, or just quietness. Breathe into that space. This is your reclaimed energy, your potential, your presence. So, silently or out loud, if you wish, offer yourself an affirmation. I consciously choose where my energy flows. I release old patterns with compassion, and I welcome growth and presence. And take one more deep conscious breath in, filling yourself with awareness and intention. And as you exhale, slowly begin to bring your awareness back to the room and around you, wiggling your fingers and toes to sense all that is around you. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. And welcome back. And asking yourself internally, how do you feel? And remember that this practice is a tool you can return to anytime you fell trapped in that old loop. Awareness, non-judgment, and gentle release. Extinguishing old patterns is a journey, not a destination. The goal isn't to become perfect at it, but to become more conscious, more intentional, more aligned with the vibrant, evolving person you are. So, your invitation for this week is revisit the pattern you identified, revisit that hidden reward, and practice that one strategy you chose for removing your reinforcement or the fuel. So be curious, be kind, notice what shifts. And you have the power to stop feeding those ghosts and start fueling your growth. So thank you for spending time with me today. Go gently and go consciously. Until next time, this is Nikhil, and this has been a daily practice. Thank you.